Well, it's all about 5G this year. And there are the hype years and there are the kind of reality years. Now, of course, we always talk about the reality when we're here, but sometimes what they want to talk about at the conference is really kind of hype. This year, 5G, which has been hype in previous years, really is real. And we've seen that in the US with AT&T and Verizon actually starting to roll out 5G networks. And we're seeing here companies actually start to launch 5G phones. One of those is Huawei. Now, of course, we've talked about Huawei in the context of the controversies with the Trump administration, their equipment with 5G, et cetera. But here, they've launched a straight-ahead 5G phone. They've launched a foldable 5G phone. You remember Samsung just launched its own foldable phone a few days ago. Huawei's phone here getting some rave reviews for its design and some dropping jaws for its price tag, $2,600 for that phone. But I think kind of the iPhone 10 and 10 Plus, et cetera, 10s Plus have inoculated people against pricing shock. Once it tipped over $1,000, 2,600 people are like, well, it's expensive. Okay.
Well, it's quite a big increase in percentage terms. But John, what's your take on why Apple haven't done this? I mean, I guess for most of the last decade, they have been the lead innovators when it comes to smartphone, and now Samsung and Huawei out ahead of them when it comes to foldable. Does Apple think foldable won't work, or it just doesn't have the inputs or the innovation?
Well, I would say Apple, in something like foldable, often isn't trying to be out front. They're not really being out front when it comes to 5G itself. We've got Xiaomi, we've got Samsung, we've got Huawei, others actually announcing 5G phones. We don't even expect to see a 5G phone from Apple this year. I would say expect it maybe 2020. Not this year. But when it comes to displays, Samsung is a leading creator of displays, so you would expect them to come out with something like this first, and for Apple to sort of not appear to be chasing the latest thing, to kind of hang back in the cut and see what happens, put a spin perhaps on software and a different kind of design.
I was going to say that's not totally unlike Apple in at least some cases where they weren't necessarily first, but they wanted to be the best when it comes to creating some sort of new development in hardware or software. And Apple's been focusing so much on health. Are there any kind of health competitors out there at Mobile World Congress with phones? I know Apple's obviously pushing it with some of the Apple Watch designs.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the health competitors that we've seen here is not in phones, it's in augmented reality or mixed reality. Microsoft has much more of a presence here than they have in previous years. Yesterday, they had a big event for the HoloLens 2. That's the headset where you can see mixed reality. They're really targeting it toward the enterprise, even toward doctors, hospitals, so that during surgery, they can see a model of the patient, see inside the patient. For training, similarly, you can see inside an engine. I actually tried that on, went through the simulation. It's pretty amazing technology. It kind of scared me in a way because you actually have to step in when using the technology in order to touch certain things, step back to see certain things. Software kind of interacts with you in a way that's even way different from other augmented reality that I've tried. So we're seeing technology like that used in medical applications, and it's mobile, it sits on your head, it's wireless, it's going to work on 5G eventually, but we're moving way beyond the phones with this stuff now, guys.
John, just quickly, what's the tone towards Huawei and some of the other Chinese manufacturers on the topic of security concerns there in Barcelona?
Well, it's interesting, as you know, Will, Huawei is big in Europe, and Mobile World Congress is in Europe, and there's not nearly this tone of distrust that we experience in the US here when it comes to Huawei and the technology announcement that they're making. They've got 4 booths here, they've had steady traffic, and their phone announcements have been kind of received with open arms alongside the likes of Samsung and whatnot. Also, when I've asked executives about this, there has been, I asked them about the security concerns with Huawei. Sometimes they give me answers about the political issues with Huawei. I don't know if that reflects how the Trump administration has been putting the two issues together, but it's interesting that executives are giving kind of political answers to a technology question.